TCS, Ms. Priti Balasundaram, Analyst, Campus Hiring, Emphasis, Mr. Jagadish Kumar, HR Manager, New Logic, Mr. Rahul Paramsivam, Campus Recruitment Lead and HR, Hex Note, Mitsogo. Our Principal, Dr. Venugopalakrishnan, IQSC Director, Dr. S. Shenbag-Eril, Placement Dean, Mr. O. Dharani, Head of the Departments, faculty members, and dear students.
It is a privilege to host Impulse 6.0 with the theme AI-powered campus to corporate at Jeppiaar Institute of Technology, a premier platform for synergistic exchange, industry insight, and knowledge sharing.
A moment of reverence set the tone for the day of learning and purpose. I kindly request everyone to raise at your feet for Tamil Thai Varthu.
யாரும் கடலுழத்த நிலமடந்த கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அது சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியங்கு செய்ய மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
A warm welcome creates a space where ideas can grow and people can shine. I kindly request our principal, Dr. Venugopalakrishnan, to deliver the welcome address.
A very pleasant morning to everyone gathered here. On behalf of Jeppiaar Institute of Technology, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to the formal session of the HR Conclave, the Career Impulse 6.0, centered on the theme AI-powered campus to corporate. First and foremost, I express my deep gratitude to our respected chairman, Dr. N. Wilson sir, so he will be joining shortly, for his constant encouragement, visionary leadership, and unwavering support that enables us to conduct the impactful and industry-oriented programs such as this. It is my privilege to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to our distinguished panelists for the forenoon session. Ms. Priti Balasundaram, Analyst, Campus Hiring Emphasis, Mr. Ganesh, Regional Tech Head, TCS, Mr. Jagadish Kumar, Human Resource Manager, New Logic, Mr. Raghu Paramasimam, Campus Recruitment Lead and Head, Xnode, Mitsogo. We are truly honored to have such dynamic and experienced leaders from the industry who will enlighten our students with the insights of AI-driven hiring practices, evolving corporate expectations, and future-ready skill sets. Our heartfelt welcome Dr. Shenbag-Eril, IQSC Director, for constantly guiding us toward the excellence and for motivating the faculty and students for pursue impactful research. I extend my sincere appreciation to Mr. Dharani, Dean Placement, Mr. Shine, Placement in Charge, for arranging this HR Conclave event. Also, our head of the departments, faculty teams, organizing committees, and the CDC cell, and everyone who has contributed in the smooth conduct of this event. A typical welcome to all my beloved students and all participants whose enthusiasm make this platform meaningful. May today's discussion inspire you to adapt, innovate, and embrace the future workplace with confidence. I once again welcome each one of you of this productive and insightful forenoon session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your profound insights.
It is an honor to introduce Mr. Ganesh, a highly respected HR leader currently serving as the regional TAG head for Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. With over 15 years of diverse experience across regional, corporate, and global HR assignments, he has played a transformative role in shaping people's strategy and organizational culture. His expertise spans talent management, total rewards, performance management, employee engagement, and HR digitization. He has led several high-impact initiatives, including compensation, transformation, and cultural integration, helping organizations remain future-ready and people-centric. One of his standout contributions includes ensuring mobility and operational continuity during the pandemic in Japan, a remarkable demonstration of resilience and strategic foresight. His leadership balances innovation with empathy. Let us invite Mr. Ganesh to step onto the stage. Sir, please.
It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Briti Balasundaram, an accomplished analyst campus hiring at Emphasis, who plays a pivotal role in shaping early career talent for the organization. With expertise in end-to-end recruitment, campus engagement, and talent pipeline development, she brings both precision and empathy to the hiring process. Armed with a master's degree in social work from the prestigious Madras School of Social Work, she blends strong HR acumen with deep people understanding. Ensuring meaningful and seamless candidate experiences, she leads campus to corporate programs, strengthens academic collaborations, and supports onboarding initiatives that help fresh graduates transition confidently into the corporate world. Her contributions have also been recognized through award-winning initiatives within Emphasis. I kindly welcome Ms. Briti Balasundaram to the stage. Ma'am, please. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Jagdish Kumar D, an emerging HR leader celebrated for his calm leadership, process-driven approach, and people-focused mindset. He holds an MBA in HR from Madras University and a bachelor's degree in ECE, bringing together strong technical and managerial skills. With over 6 years of experience across multiple industries, he has grown into a well-rounded HR professional capable of driving meaningful organizational change. At New Logic, he has led initiatives such as Kika PMS implementation, HR automation, ISO compliance, and employee engagement development. His early roles at Blue Binaries, Shiryu Suvida Engineers, and Quest Corp provided extensive exposure to HR analytics, lifecycle management, and global mobility. I respectfully call upon Mr. Jagdish Kumar to join us on the stage. Sir, please.
It is a privilege to introduce Mr. Raghu Paramasivam, a distinguished HR professional and campus recruitment strategist with over 17 years of industry experience. His expertise covers talent acquisition, university partnerships, HR operations, employee branding, and stakeholder management. As an Indian campus recruitment lead at Exinode Mitsugo Inc., he designs and executes impactful hiring models that strengthen academic industry collaboration. His legacy includes 8 remarkable years at Cognizant, where he led nationwide campus recruitment and partnered more than 120 institutions. With a strong academic foundations in the commerce and a master's in social work HR, he has earned several accolades for the recruitment excellence. His commitment to train young talent and strengthening organizational cultural continuous influence in the HR community. I warmly invite Mr. Raghu Paramasivam to grace the stage. I welcome you, sir.
With great joy and deep respect, we now begin the felicitation segment to honor our esteemed guest whose presence and contribution have added immense value to this event. I kindly request our principal to felicitate our moderators of today's event, Mr. Ganesh, Regional TAG Head, TCS.
The memento has been exclusively crafted using a 3D printer at our Idea Lab, and it's proudly presented by our students from Jeppiaar Institute of Technology. Ms. Priti Balasundaram, Analyst, Campus Hiring Emphasis. Thank you, sir. I request our IQAC Director to felicitate Mr. Jagdish Kumar, HR Manager, New Logic. Thank you, ma'am. I request our placement dean to felicitate Mr. Raghu Paramsivam, Campus Recruitment Lead and HR, Hex Note, Mitsogo. Thank you, sir. Without any further delay, I request our moderator, Mr. Ganesh, HR Leader, Regional TAG TCS, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? The last person can hear me? Yes? There's something new that we are getting into a panel discussion where we felt that, there could be questions not only thrown from the student community, but as well as something that we could also discuss over. We from industry, most of us being from IT industries, there are varied practices that come across when it comes to hiring. And as we take on with respect to the life cycle of the employee in the organization, there are various automation that we are working on. It's not something new that we are doing it right now, but rather it has always been a course of action, because that is one thing that demonstrates the excellence of the organization in terms of operational efficiency, as well as how you can reduce operational costs in terms of you reducing the manpower cost by automating processes. So with that note, we'll start today's topic on AI-powered campus to corporate. While this topic is generic from the sense how one transitions from campus to corporate, specifically for student community, but the narrative that is impinged upon over here is, it starts with the hiring part. So the transition is basically from campus to corporate. It is more over the hiring, and we have this panel of experts over here with me to dwell more deeper into this and bring in the insights that will be valuable for you to prepare for the upcoming years before you reach your final year. So welcome to today's panel discussion on AI-powered campus to corporate. And this is the topic, as I mentioned, is shaping the future of talent acquisition and redefining how organizations connect the young talent. This transition from campus to corporate is a crucial milestone not only for the student community, but something of strategic importance for organizations like us as well. Traditionally, this process has involved manual resume screening, the biodata that we call, which I'm sure you already started preparing. And then comes the next round, which is the aptitude test, which is either paper-based or online, which is more of a time-based, and you will have to respond to it, which is more like a monologue where the system does not interact as on tape. The next step predominantly would be group discussion basis the quantity and basis the organizations, where it is completely dependent on human mind. There is no machine intervention over here. It's a subjective decision as to how a human resource professional or a technically competent manager over there in this process identifies the right set of talent. The next being the personal interview. So this is the traditional form of approach which has always been existent over decades. While these have been effective, there have been various questions thrown on us, industries, in terms of the biasness, that being a process where there's more of human involvement. Second, the time constraint taken in terms of, for a country like India, where there is young talent coming up, churning out every year, how many resumes, how many profiles that need to be matched to the available job description that we have. So there is an enormous amount of time that takes place. Third and most important point is the scalability. Should we scale up our manpower resources in order to meet the demand? Or how could we use machine to replace this efficiency is a question. These are not just three, but there are many more, where a panel of experts would also dwell into it and will come out with various other pointers of what is happening in the industry. Today, artificial intelligence is a narrative. It's enabling faster, fairer, and a data-driven decision making. This isn't a generic, but how does it happen is what we're going to discuss right now. To explore these questions, we will open up this panel discussion, and where Preeti, Jagdish, and Raghu are here with us to give more insights on this. So to start with, I'm sure this is the primary question which is there amongst all the candidates, where campus hiring is the cornerstone of this talent acquisition process. Now, how do you see AI transforming this process is what we will discuss, my respected panel members. So let me start with the emphasis, Preeti. So how do you see campus hiring impacting and in terms of AI impacting this process? I'm sure you've been there throughout the years. What new transformation has happened through this AI coming in?
Thank you for the question. Wonderful question to start with. First of all, good morning, everyone. Amazing topic. This is the need of the hour, right? We wanted to know how AI can actually make lives easy. So I'm into campus recruitment, and I see a lot of changes that has happened over years. Right, starting from the screening, it has actually made lives easy. The time taken for resume screening, we are actually managing more than 3,000, 4,000 profiles of the students. It has actually reduced the number of, or the time consuming work has reduced. And, and we also have the next round, which is aptitude assessment, which you already mentioned. It's an AI proctored assessment where, there's no sort of, malpractice or anything happens. So there's no manual intervention there, right? There's no human intervention there. It's fully dependent on AI. This actually reduces the workload of the employees. In terms of, sticking to one particular, the responsibility or the roles required for that particular work. So instead, we can concentrate on multiple other tasks. This is something that I have seen in recent days, and of course, there's though AI does a lot of activities for us, it's very important to have that human touch to reduce us unnecessary biases. So this is something that I wanted to start with, but we can talk a lot on this in the next two.
Thanks, Priti. So if you want me to add on something, I could tell you by saying this particular transformation of recruitment, especially a campus recruitment, I wouldn't say it is a journey. It is a transformation, what was happened for all these more than a decade. If you look at from 2010, the initial online aptitude test was happened manually, wherein we will share the question paper, students will write the answers, wherein set of our panel members will spend lot of hours to correct it. And later few years, we brought in OMR sheet, okay, wherein what you do in NEET exams or other government exams, wherein you will scratch the answers, it will be deducted into a OMR system, where you will get the result. That is another one. When days goes on, we thought of bringing this practice into online. That is where some of the assessment companies came up into the industry, and they have started conducting online based tests. Okay, what they'll do, you'll write the test, they will have their own answer keys, they will finalize overall selects based on our cutoff. Now it has evolved to an extent saying that no more human intervention, okay? Because I'm handling a huge denominator wherein we are visiting 120 campuses across the India. So imagine each college has 1,000 numbers. 120 into 1,000 numbers, it is a huge thing. So I do not have the bandwidth to bring my own team to monitor this particular assessment pattern. Instead of that, as British said, it is completely a proctoring test, okay, wherein we will share the test link to your email ID. You will sit at home, you will sit at anywhere else, you will start taking up your assessment, okay. But all these assessments will be completely proctored. So, for example, yesterday I had the same sort of online assessment in a specific college, wherein the students came up in middle of it saying, "Sir, my test got disconnected in between. It shows that I have completed the test. I just took it 5 minutes before, but it shows that I have completed the test." Because I have cut off saying that 4 parameters. If this person switch the screen more than twice, if the person turn around, look aside, okay, there will be another factor. If you do these things, this test will automatically get disconnected, and whatever the score that you have scored in 2 minutes, that is going to be your score, right? But still, I could see a lot of students are trying something new, how to crack the test, not organically, but I would definitely say that might help you to clear the test and interview. That is not going to help you to grow further in your future. That is what all the time since our school days, our teachers are saying that this person who sits next to you is not going to help you in future. You have to be on your own. So whatever that we brings in as an AI tool or any new approach, still the mindset of the students hasn't changed yet. When the mindset of the students is get changed, then only all these will be meaningful. So focus on how you're going to crack it, not from the help of others.
Thank you, Raghu. Jagdish, over to you. How do you think is impacting any new practices that has transformed in your organization?
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh, for that. So typically, like Raghu and Vidya were talking much about the recruitment part. Okay, so my job role comes after the recruitment. Okay, so I'm into this operations and business partnering role. Okay, so what is that particular thing A has brought in a change? Okay, So specifically, maybe like before AI came into the picture, so earlier, students who are passing out of their college, so they wanted to adapt to the organizational culture. So that was the need for almost all the organizations. Whereas the right scenario or in this current AI era is that we are expecting the candidates to have a clear understanding about the AI integrated workflows. So that is one basic requirement or the expectation that almost all the organizations currently do have. Okay. So what this AI has brought in as a change, right? Typically, it has reduced the manpower hours. That's the simple thing that AI has done. Okay. But obviously, there might be a question. Okay, is AI going to replace my job? Yes, AI is going to replace certain jobs, but the jobs, what is going to be replaced is the repetitive task. Okay. So we don't want a person to be working on certain repetitive tasks, so that it is obviously a cost to the organization, and there are other factors also that revolves around. So that's the change, main specific change I would say AI has brought in. Okay. So which particular thing the corporates as well as the institutions are trying to bridge that particular gap. So that's the point that I would like to add.
Thank you, Jagdish. So, out of these inputs which came across, one thing that is common is it has transformed the way of automating the scalability issue, which is with respect to redundancy, as Jagdish had mentioned, the biasness or the malpractice that could come up with whatever was the traditional engagement of assessment, as Preeti had mentioned. The third part, which Raghu had mentioned about the fairness of the process, while AI is doing its best to ensure the fairness of the system is brought in. But I'm sure our generation of students are also trying to outbeat it as much as possible. So AI versus the student community is what I get out of this. But having said that, how are you finding this change, my dear panelists? The reason being, one, we've understood the difference between how it was there in the traditional process, as Raghu had mentioned. Even I was part of that, the previous generation where I used to shade the responses for the questions. And the time, while the faculty or the proctor has to pull out the papers, we have to give it, whether we are finishing it or not, whether it will be like assessed based on the number of questions that have been already responded or the total number of questions, that remains a question mark. But today, now that you all mentioned that since AI coming into the picture, it is proctored, online proctored, plus a time-based assessment. And with whatever questions that have been given, they are being assessed as a percentile mode. So most of the companies that come in, the standard question that comes from the students is what is going to be the cutoff score, basis which you are going to select the number of students. Here, we are delegating this to AI as well. Now, this is similar to any other competitive exam. Now, today, like how you have the medical competitive exam NEET, where the cutoff score is not static. They go year on year in terms of deciding how many number of doctors need to be put across based on the ratio of the need of the medical practitioners in the country. Similarly, an industry or the organization also chooses its own set of manpower requirement based on how they would like to put across. So here, AI is also simplifying in this aspect by ensuring where they need to set a cutoff. And there is a more use of a technical aspect, which I don't want to put, but rather I will take it up from our esteemed panelists. So what all technology perspectives are we looking over here is what we want to understand, wherein any specific tools that you're using or internal tools, and how is that tool replacing the manual process? Is what we like to understand. We start from Jagdish this time.
Yeah, that's a good question, Ganesh. Okay. So specific thing, right? So earlier, like as I was discussing, right? Every student who is passing out, they need the technical knowledge. Okay. So earlier I'm talking about. So you need to have minimum 80 to 90% of the technical knowledge to crack your interviews and then perform your job roles in the organization. But whereas now the AI has come in, so even if 60 to 70% of technical knowledge is there with the candidates, so that is more than enough. Okay. Meaning, so AI tool can support you on all aspects. Okay. The thing is like how you efficiently are going to use that AI tool to ensure like your thinking process. So there are a couple of thinking process is there in this current AI. Okay. So we all have some sort of an thinking process, like there is a question to it. So how we are going to approach that particular question. Typically we will have like maybe one or two solutions to approach that particular question. Whereas now this AI can give you, you will have multiple options, like be it even 5 or 7 solutions or the approaches that you can do it with AI. Okay. So the main thing is like you will have the design thinking and you can also have a creative thinking. So which will definitely help you out to reach out the particular solution that is required for that particular question. Okay. So the only thing is like AI will not give you like 100% what solution that you are expecting. Okay. So it will throw you some 5 to 7 solutions. Out of it, you will have to implement your human analogy to understand that particular solution. Is it going to help whatever the question that has been prompted? So is that solution is going to help me? What I have to give it as an output or an outcome. So that particular thing I would say like, even though AI is going to replace or certain opportunities are there with AI, again it's at the end of the day, it is like we as a human has to understand that particular solution and ensure like that particular solution is meeting that outcome or the output that is expected.
Thank you, Jagdish. So, any other technical tools that you're using, Raghu, within your organization?
Okay. When we talk about tools, before that, I just wanted to add on one thing. See, how AI emerged this much, it is only because of the inability of the human. Okay? Because humans are always problem-centric, people, and this AI is a solution-centric, thing which is came into picture. We always, as a human, will talk about the problems, right? And we will keep prolonging the problem, we'll keep talking about the problem for longer time. Wherein AI, the moment it got the problem, it will start thinking about the solution. So that is where this gap has happened. So when you ask about tools, okay, being a product company, which I'm working in, completely we have removed our testing practices. Okay, there are no manual testing that we do encourage, because here in our organization we don't talk about testing, we do talk about quality assurance. So the quality assurance which is being given by the tools better than the human people. Okay, because the testing, people always find bugs and give me a solution. Wherein this quality assurance, the AI tools, it is predicting what is going to happen as a problem, and it is giving me a prior solution before I just get into that and run through it and finding out bugs. So one portion of our product development has very simplified with the help of the AI tools that we are using right now. At the same time, in terms of recruitment, yes, absolutely, we are completely relaxed nowadays. When after the pandemic, when this complete recruitment has changed into virtual, so I don't want it to travel day and night here and there all the time. I can simply sit at a place, I can just trigger a number of interviews wherein my panel will sit in a different place, my candidates will sit in a different place, where it will be completely aligned, Zoom, Teams, and so on. So AI equal to simplify things. That's what AI is all about.
Yes, Preeti.
Yes. So, as Raghu mentioned, our work has reduced a lot with AI. In terms of recruitment and other areas in terms of hiring as such. But I also wanted to highlight that Emphasis has been an organization which we are always far ahead of technology. Like we've been the front runners in terms of technology concerns, and AI is not new to us. We were talking about AI in 2016 itself, right? And a lot of things that we have did over years, and I actually wanted to talk about something on the HR or operations part, because we know from a recruitment front point there's a lot of things happen, but internally as an organization we have done a lot of changes. The HR operations part, when I say operations, it's more of employee related, right? We know there will be a lot of challenges handling, too many things. So there's a little, there's a small guy whom we call Dexter. So anything and everything we'll go to Dexter, right? For leaves, for anything and everything, right? Any concerns. So for that matter, AI has been very, very helpful, right? We don't bug nor nudge people for anything as such. So AI has been very, very helpful, and tools, of course, there's a lot of tools. We're doing a lot of R&D in terms of AI, and of course, it's reducing a lot of man hours and bringing in a lot of efficiency into the organization. So that's my.
Thank you, Preeti. So overall, with respect to the technical aspect, what we gather and to understand is that, as Jagdish has mentioned, that the design and creative thinking is being applied over here, not only with hiring, because he comes from a field which is HR engagement, business partnering. So this automation is not only impacting the hiring part, which he has beautifully put in, but rather it is bringing in the engagement aspect, which we will discuss in further, and how it it also some of these tools, which is specific with respect to travel and hospitality, where they also use a sentiment analysis. Basically, it is an NLP that tries to understand the pattern, the tone, the sentiment of the user who's questioning this, who is sending in the query, and basis which the responses are being responded by this AI chatbot. Now, this is something we'll dwell in a later point of stage now, which we have our member like Jagdish who will also give us more insights about how we engage employees using such tools. The other aspect which Raghu had beautifully highlighted is the problems statement and the solutions that AI has provided through this technical aspect. Now, there were various problems with respect to redundancy, and this only possibility was to ensure that we increase the manpower. Now, there is no end to increasing manpower, because a workforce can be increased based on the set of billability that one organization gets and the customers that you expand. But you cannot increase manpower based on the number of operations you have, because that's not going to yield revenue realization. It's more of how you're trying to automate it through some means or mechanism, and that is where AI is helping. So problems and AI is giving solutions is what Raghu had mentioned. Another output that came out of this was the predictive analytics. Now this, I will deep dive it into the next set of my questions, because there's more to look into this, because this is a special topic, which is simplifying a task in terms of assessment. Now, taking the cues from this, there are also certain tools which are there, which I can list out few which are available in the market. One is Tech Tree, the other one is Phenom People. The another tool which is largely used by organizations across the globe is Handshake AI. These are some of the assessment tools where you can explore to see how it responds to your pattern and questions. And these technical tools have their own licenses and they have been patented by the companies which are not only an expert in AI, but other companies which were traditionally doing these assessments, as how Raghu had mentioned before, they've also started dwelling into this in some form of automation, if not AI. But while doing so, what is the experience of these candidates that you have seen, and what is the sentiment of the recruiters? Are they finding success out of this, or do you feel that it is just 50-50, or the ratio is something where there is still a human intervention that is required to ensure that, this is definitely not doable only with this machine, but rather there is some amount of human operations that is involved, because at the end objective is what you as an organization have, maybe as a fulfillment need or demand. So how do you think this balance of technology and human mindset is being maintained from your organization standpoint? May I ask this question to Raghu first?
So Ganesh, it's a beautiful question, because when we talk about AI technology and everything, people think that we are going to completely depend on the systems. No, it's not going to happen. See, something that the whole world should believe, it is organic, right? So anything that you depend so much on the system, that is might give you a shorter result, but that will not going to help you for a longer run. When you talk about this, for small example, see, when you do an interview, during an HR discussion, if you find a person who is really capable, but at that moment he is not able to exhibit what he exactly has, what is his potential is all about. When the human interview is happening, wherein as a HR person, I will just give him some more time. I will make him comfortable. I found that this guy has a potential. My role is to bring out the potential and to ensure he's the right fit for my organization. Wherein the system will not do that. The system is going to do 1 + 1 is equal to 2. If the person is saying the same one, he will be selected, right? So system is not going to empathically going to thinking. It is completely on a result oriented, wherein the human is a future oriented. So human interaction is much more important, though you bring in a lot of technology. As an organization, every organization, based on the culture, they have to decide, am I going with 50% human, 50% technology, or 70-30 or 60-40. It is based on the company's culture. But I would strongly recommend human interaction is much, much needed for any approach.
Thank you. Over to you, Jagdish.
Yes, Ganesh. So specific to this particular point, right? So the human intervention versus the AI. Okay. So obviously there is a point like where human intervention is needed at every point in time. Okay. So irrespective you're starting from the hiring process, or be it the onboarding or the employee engagement or whatever aspects that you talk about, human intervention is essential. Okay. So how this is going to vary from the human versus the AI. Okay. So as Raghu stated, like AI is going to give you some solution to it. Okay, you will have to decide at the end, as I also stated earlier, right? So you will have to decide like which is the right ones that we will have to be taking it up. Okay. So here, what I would like to add is that, so this particular thing, for example, almost like most of the organizations, currently they are into this virtual hiring mode. Okay. So we also come across certain proxy candidates as well. Okay. So that particular thing, like to eradicate those scenarios or something. So what we do is like as an organization, the final round of interview. Okay, so let all the interviews happen over virtual, but before offering a candidate, so what we as an organization do is that we tend to call the candidate to the office to have an in-person discussion. Okay, so the technical knowledge or the technical aspects, AI would be able to filter it out. Okay, for example, apart from that, there are certain aspects, behavioral aspects, attitude of an employee, attitude of a candidate. So there are other such factors that plays a major role for HRs before onboarding a candidate to the organization. So that's where I would say like human intervention is very, very essential, even though if AI is going to rule.
Yes, Preeti.
All right. So we're talking about human intervention. Let me start it from here. So when I said about my, our online AI proctored assessment, we get the results of the candidates. We ensure that there is a manual check as well. So our test partners will not only give an initial report which has AI-driven results, but they will also make their team work on the results and give a manual report. Okay, that is actually time consuming, but we want them to do that to ensure there's no biases in terms of selecting or rejecting a candidate. That is one thing. And we always wanted to have ethical implications, understanding the capabilities and limitations of AI. That is very, very important, right? Whatever we do with AI, we should understand the consequences of the technology. End of the day, it is a human-made technology. That is something that I, always have that belief. We have created it. We know how to destroy it as well, right? We know how to use it as well. So we need to use it with mindfulness. That is one thing. And when it comes to the technical aspect, I also wanted to touch upon the soft skills as well. Like, Jagdish said. We wanted our candidates to be really strong at their technical skills, be it communication, be it attitude, the personality traits. That is very important, right? Even though you are really good at in any technology, that really doesn't matter to a HR. More than that, you have to be a person who is open to any technology or working in different atmosphere. That is very important. So these are some of the points that I wanted to highlight. And yes, I really believe that human intervention is must when it comes to working with AI. So it is always, now we are only talking about human versus AI. In next 10-15 years, it is going to be human plus AI. So we have to be very mindful of what we are going to do.
Thank you, Preeti. So as we summarize for this question, how we balance technology as well as human interface. So one thing that has come out, a key takeaway that has come out from Raghu is that while the logics could be defined by the system, by the machine, there is some amount of objectivity that needs to be brought in by the human. And this cannot be dealt completely with the machine. And Jagdish had clearly laid out the aspects that only the technical aspect can be trusted by the machine, whereas the behavioral and most importantly the cognitive skills of the human, because at the end you are testing a human. So this is something that can go by only with respect to how a human eye can view it and how they could be analyzed. Preeti had beautifully highlighted in terms of the biasness. Well, there is a logic that has been defined in the system, and that goes by the predefined logic. A human is a complex mind. You can never know as to what would be the new set of aspects that you would, or the attributes that you would exhibit when it comes to an assessment. So there, it is not possible that we completely go with an engineered set of algorithm that can only detect how an assessment can be made for the potential human resources. So with this respect, we understand that a human intervention is definitely required, and the percentage as to how they want to distribute, it may differ according to the need of the organization. And specifically, this might be difficult when it comes to the manufacturing sector, where it is more of a skill-based. It's not only an assessment with respect to what you hold in terms of intellectuality, rather on how you perform things. AI is not completely progressed in a way in terms of understanding how human resource performs in terms of how he's bringing the end product from delivering a product through a lathe or through a machinery. Whereas in most of the countries, it is engineered and automated. But today in our country, we have not gone to that level in how we can examine a skill where, that could be deployed in a manufacturing sector. So that is something where, we need the notion of human eye intervention when it comes to AI upskilling. As we've told, in terms of automated tasks of repeated laborious tasks of screening and the match with the job description or as well as the resume, that is where, this aspect of AI comes in. But while we do so, I have a difference of opinion, probably so will be my set of panelists. We have tried out various tools. Job searching portal like Naukri or LinkedIn or Monster, whatsoever. Now here, what we traditionally do here is, there is an option of keyword search that fits, because once you come inside in the competitive market, it's not just one skill. You'll be having a combination of skills. Amongst this, will I be able to see what is that specific skill out of the many that I'll be able to take it for my requirement? Now this is a complex task. It might sound as simple right now for you. For an HR member, out of 100 resumes and just one job description, how simple is it going to be to take into 100 resumes and take one skill out of the many that has been mentioned? One person cannot go with one skill set. I'm sure that is not possible, because today you've got various electives, disciplines, and out of that I have to take one. Amongst this challenge, how do I do this today? What we do in HR fraternity, these job searching portals have various search methodologies. One common being the Boolean search that we use, where you use the logic of or and to see what combination of skill sets that you can use, of which we take. That is traditionally how we hire. Vis-a-vis the current AI transformation that we're looking for, where you pose a job description as what we require, and these set of resumes, at least I've not put in 100 resumes so far, but rather a batch of resumes to the AI tool, which will try choosing in the best match fit to this resume. Now this is debatable in today's industry as to what percentage of match it is. While I have my opinion, I'll let my panelists dwell in as to what has been their experience in terms of the accuracy of the best match of our requirement. May I start with Preeti first?
All right. I think, to be very honest, I have, done my hirings only in the colleges. So predominantly, I have seen resumes directly in hand. So I wouldn't be able to, comment on this. But yes, a lot of, friends of mine, colleagues of mine have told me that, with the resumes that they get out of the searches that we are talking about, it's not always so precise, right, in terms of having a particular skill. Because, our students, our candidates, they mention, different words or vocabularies for a different set of words. So that is where the problem starts, right? Selecting with those, the words that they have mentioned. I don't know how prompt or how, precise the selections are going to be in terms of resume shortlisting. That is my take on this. But as I said, I've been only doing, manually I've been working on resumes, and I go to colleges in person, and so I would not be able to, comment more on this.
Noted, noted. Any of inputs, Raghu, from your side? Raghu, I'll keep the floor open. In fact. Anybody?
Yeah. Okay. So see all these job portals, right? If you look at these portals, have been built by the people who had worked in the recruitment industry. Okay, I have recently piloted a product. I mean a specific tool, wherein, as you rightly mentioned, our complete recruitment, lateral recruitment team is finding difficulties in screening the profiles. Nowhere else they have an issue, only to screen the profiles, because each recruiter for a single role, if the recruiter is not capable enough, the person has to see 100 resumes, no other choice. If the person is capable, but still the profiles which is being available in these job portals are AI equipped resumes. Okay, because these candidates taking help from AI and picking up specific vocabulary which AI tells them, they are mentioning those vocabularies in the resumes. Unless and until the recruiter knows these are the specific keywords, they will not be able to find the resume. That is one. Another thing is, as you rightly mentioned, for lateral, no more single specific technology hiring. So every person that we look at, it's a combination of A, B, C, D, and E, F, and whatever it is. Even on a joke, we will always tell for freshers, nowadays we are looking at experienced freshers, not freshers. We are looking at experienced freshers. That's how the recruiters also align with AI, because the candidates are more faster than the recruiters. Before the recruiters get help from the AI, these candidates will go get help from the AI, saying that, boss, if I create a resume in this way, will I get a job? Or this AI going to tell you, for HR role, you have to create a resume having this information. So it is something that recruiter has to be even more faster than the candidate. The candidate are super fast.
Just to add to Raghu's point, the problem, one of the most important problem here is that we're not dealing with one profile as such. Okay, they sit with multiple other people, and the resume template is same, that we get somewhere around 50 to 100 profiles which are of the same template. That is the biggest challenge, right? You have to somehow deal with it. So that is also one of the challenges I just wanted to highlight.
Maybe Ganesh, I'll give one best example, okay? Or not even an example, a real scenario that happened. Okay, so we were posting job posts in LinkedIn, Naukri, and certain other platforms. Okay, so there was one candidate, for example, let us take like he was, we offered or we put in a position for ABC role. Okay, so we got a resume from one person, like he's also an experienced person. Okay, so we got a resume from that person with so and so technology skill set and other things and all. We done the interview process and all the other things. And his particular profile was kept on hold due to certain restrictions from the client. Okay, I remember that particular person, like since he had some thing which we had a personal connect, so I remembered that person. Okay, so after 6 months of time, we posted a different job role for DEF role. Let us take it. The same profile popped up. So I saw like this particular name. I mean, similarly, his name was something, it was not that familiar. It was quite different, so that I was able to remind that particular candidate's profile. Okay, so for the same, it's a complete different technology, not the one which we put it for ABC role. And for DEF, this particular profile also again popped up. So then I was informing the recruitment team like, okay, already I have seen this particular profile, but that was for a different position or the role that we have opened it. And again, this particular person has been applied, or maybe I'm not sure like whether he applied it or some other reasons to it. And I was checking his particular resume and the new resume as well, which he had published for this particular role. Okay, so you'll not believe. So whatever the technology or the skill set that he put it in his first resume, right, for the ABC role, it was completely different with the role for the DEF. And it was like, how come this is possible? Like, how come this particular employee can do that? Okay. But the thing is, like, that particular candidate has a very good technology or the skill set that you can call it as. Okay. So be it primary or the secondary skill set, right? So as Raghu was informing, like, you have to have from A to Z all the technology or the skill set you should be expertise in. You need, if you need a job offer. So on that note, that particular candidate was well enough to learn both the technologies, and he was able to crack both the particular technologies with that. And how come we were also thinking about it, like how come he was able to change all these particular aspects? Okay. So what right now he had did is like, he saw the JD, so accordingly he put it in the whatever AI tool you can call it as. He was able to match his particular profile with the particular JD that we had posted in. It was an exact 80 to 90% match, I would call it as. So again, AI has both pros and cons to it. So this particular candidate has used it in a wise manner that he was able to crack both the interviews. Okay. So that particular thing I would like to even inform, like, so AI has to be used in a very potential way. So it has its own capabilities and other things. So we'll have to be ensuring like it is used in a wise manner so that we get benefited out of it as well. Okay. So this particular thing you can take it as an example. Even you can apply for multiple roles unless until you are very good enough in that particular technology or that skill set.
Thank you all. So the key takeaway out of this in terms of accuracy, one input that I want to give to the students based on the collation of these inputs were, or as we look for what is to be there in your resume, me as a human mind or we as a human mind, plus how AI is designed to also read this profile of yours is your skill set, the competencies or technologies, whatever we call. Please do mention it in a chronological order of your expertise. And the system or the AI, most of the AI tools that at least I have known of, because there are too many in the market, they do a stratified sampling, is what we understand. Given a scenario that I can add, like how Jagdish had mentioned, if I have to give a batch of 10 resumes as against the job description that we want, so it will give me the nearest match to that resume. But if I'm going to do that resampling again for the second time, the result was different. This was out of a tool that I don't want to mention right now because I do understand that it's still under the experimental phase. So my input to this is that it is not 100% accurate. It goes back to the same output of what we had mentioned, that there is some amount of human consideration that needs to be taken. And why is this not accurate? Because the AI system, that is the way in which the algorithm has been designed, if you have a batch of 10 resumes, for this job description, it takes a stratified sampling to try to match. Now the 5th resume to the 4th resume, it might find the 8th resume to be the best match. Now again, if it's going to take a stratified sampling from the 8th resume to the 7th resume, it's going to find the 9th resume to be the best match. So likewise, it takes a sampling and it stops to the best match that is possible, is what our personal understanding was with respect to this. Our only recommendation that we are trying to work out is work in 3 types of approaches. I mean, this is more into the HR community, rather, where we use 3 or 4 iterations of review of which you find the best match and then dwell into that. But going with a maximum number of resumes is definitely not going to be the solution to this. So we are not still in the way that we are 100% accurate to what a human eye can review. Naturally, today we are having, there is a term called fatigue. Now the trend line of fatigue today, at least today or the last 1 week, is there is something called interviewer fatigue also, for your information, because you also have a set timeline within which we can do. But what is one thing that is kind of trending today? Fatigue of one profession. In any guesses which profession right now that is being spoken about? Fatigue about one profession, which is widely being discussed about, and there's a widespread impact of travel. Fatigue of which profession? Any guesses? Fatigue of which profession that we are speaking, which has impacted, created a lot of disruption, because of which many of our passengers, I'm giving a hint, are onboarded or rather stranded in the airport. Nothing more can I give easier than this. Yes? Yes. The topic is of Indigo Airlines, fatigue of pilots that we are speaking about. So when I spoke about the scalability in the beginning, it's about the labor or the manpower. HR professionals also being party to it is also one of the manpower stakeholder into this whole scheme of things. So I suppose we are all clear about this Indigo Airlines issue that is ongoing right now. One primary factor that I don't want to get into the details is about the pilot fatigue that we are speaking about, where the DGCA has put in instructions for the safety of the passengers in terms of how the work hours of the pilots could be set to ensure that there is not more of fatigue, and thereby correlating to the safety of passengers. Now coming to our topic, where fatigue of interviewers, at least for a large volume organization that I represent, where I come from, we go with a run rate of at least 25 interviews per day, on and off, running with a half a time period. So now this is how much a human mind can perceive and will be able to assess. Now over here, such tasks is where this transformation of AI is coming. We have discussed more about the resume screening in terms of how accurate it is. Yes, we take help of AI in terms of finding the best match with certain limitations which are currently there in the market. But however, I'm sure the analysts and the experts or the research scholars who are put into this task of getting this to the best fit are doing their task, and probably will come to a place where we have to do it. Moving on to the next dimension with respect to interviewing. The online assessment or the online assessment, meaning the aptitude test, be the cognitive or the behavioral skill review, or be the technical assessment. How is this going to transform with the advent of AI? And anything where there is an AI intervention of whatever online test that has happened. And we will also correlate with the personal interview in terms of how the interviewer versus the candidate both put together, how different it could be when it comes to the advent of AI. I throw open to the floor with respect to any panel member who want to answer.
Okay, so when you talk about interviews, that's what we were discussing in the morning. So for example, our company is 50-50 now. So we are using 50% our panelists who will be doing the interviews, I mean the technical interviews. Another 50% will be done by one specific tool. It's a pilot version right now, so we tried interviewing the same candidate twice. First using our AI and then using our panel, seeing the correlation. Okay, AI is taking interviews, 100 interviews, what would be the selection ratio? It is 50. And the same 100 students are taking the interviews with our panel. If there is 50 or 55, 60s, I'm good with that. Or too much of selection or too much of rejection, then we have to think about it. See, this interesting tool is earlier we will feed a question bank, wherein this tool will take question from that particular question bank. For example, if I taking a candidate for my .NET role, I will have a question bank of 1,000 questions which is related to the .NET, and I'll feed it into the system. So this tool will keep asking questions from that particular 1,000. But the new era of AI, I am not throwing any question or question bank. This tool itself understand your answer. From there, it will typically do what Ganesh does right now. It will ask question from your answer. It will keep asking questions from your answer. So it is something that I don't want to walk around it and having a bigger team, building a bigger question bank and feeding into the system. Nothing is required. The system itself will understand. It's going to ask you, what are you doing and what is this project is all about. If you are going to explain a specific project, the moment you finish the project, it's going to just ask question from that particular project. So being an engineering graduate or a graduate, please be ready that in some point of time that you're going to attend an interview with computers, okay, which is already been in place. Most of the companies have brought into their recruitment system. So don't always expect an empathy from a panel, right? So don't always go and tell the panel that I'm from a poor background, so creating some sort of an empathy wherein the panel will select you. No, the computer is not going to do that, right? So go showcase your competency, showcase your skills that you have, why you are typically needed for that particular organization. So any organization who is going to look at, I need a person who is going to help me. I'm not going to hire a person who is going to be a burden for me. Very simple, right? So think in that perspective. There are a lot of platforms available. Take interviews through AIs, start practicing, because answering to a human and answering to a computer is completely different. Even myself have struggled when I shift from manual to virtual interviews. See, looking at the systems or looking at the candidate or generating questions in my mind, it is completely difficult. Okay, being in this industry for long years. But for freshers like you, talking to a computers, it is completely different. Okay, so it is like, sometimes it's like talking to you in front of a mirror. So sometimes you'll ask questions looking at you, and sometimes you'll ask questions and you'll get diverted because of your hairstyle, and sometimes you'll get diverted because of your dress code, which is being shown in the mirror. So there are a lot of complications, right? So start practicing now onwards. Who knows that you might have interviews with computers or might not, but it's not gonna, you're not going to lose anything by practicing all these things, what is happening exactly in the industry right now.
Any inputs? So, out of this, if anybody wants to throw up in, yes, Preeti. Yeah.
Just a pointer. So when you talk about getting ready for interviewed by computers, there's always this thing happens. Okay, so when we do HR interviews virtually, we switch off the cameras. So the candidates will ask us, "Ma'am, are you there in the call? I'm not able to see you." So we are so used to seeing humans, talking to humans, interacting with humans, and we always want that human touch, right? That's the reason Raghu is saying that you'll have to get used to talking to computers. It might look very different initially, but that is how we are going to work on, right? And more than this, I would also wanted to highlight a point here. See, we are not actually looking at data scientists right? We're not actually looking at someone who, who's going to work on big, data-driven work. But we want, students like you to be really good with AI tools. More than that, you have to be, you should know to actually interpret AI insights. That is very, very important. Whatever AI gives us, we just should not just use it. You know to interpret the data of AI. That is very, very important, right? This is something that I wanted to highlight. And when we talk about AI-based interviews, as Ganesh already mentioned, there will be algorithmic biases, okay? Because AI is only taking whatever we have given whatever information, right? It will go back to the last 50 years of the type of the method of hiring. So it will take all the inputs from there, and that is how it will also function. That is something that I wanted to highlight. And we should also see a different point here, how AI is actually doing this diversified hiring, right? We talk about diversity, inclusion, and equity and everything. So does it really work on to that values as well? Is it giving that kind of values to the company? That is very important, right? This is something that I wanted to highlight before you go to the next one.
So, one more point to add over here, okay? So, as Raghu, Priti were mentioning about the technical thing, right? So, you have to be taking interviews with computers, okay? So, the first and foremost thing is like when an organization tends to have a virtual interview, right? So, there are certain basic expectations that an organization keeps in, okay? So, first thing is like you have to come on a video when it is a virtual interview, okay? So, unless and until there are certain candidates, we'll have to ask them, wait for a couple of minutes asking them to come on video. So at that point in time, they go maybe just watch their face or have comb their hair and then come for an interview as well. So there's a lag that happens at that point in time. It is not about the lag, it is about the confidence that as a candidate you will have to establish to the interviewers as well, okay? And a proper light setting, you'll have to be sitting under a proper light to ensure like the interview is happening in an quite calm place as well. So these are, apart from the technical aspects, right? So these are some of the aspects that you will have to be start focusing on. So all of a sudden, like let us take like you are going to go and give an interview, right? So you will have to start preparing for it. So you will have to, as Raghu was mentioning it, you will have to give mock interviews. Okay, so right now AI has a lot of options, like where you could give more of a mock interview. So it will throw you like a lot of questions, be it technical aspects as well as on behavioral aspects, okay? So maybe you might be noticing like I talk more about the behavioral aspects rather than the technical thing, okay? So coming from HR background, so we tend to much focus on the behavioral aspects, okay? So that is much more essential. So you can start, I mean you all must be in your second or third year, that's what I got to know from the earnings. So this is the time that you can start focusing on those aspects as well. So college will even teach you all the technical aspects, okay, and certain behavioral aspects. But again, at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to ensure, like, even when I was in at the other side of the table, right? So even I was having a stage fear, like whether will I be even able to talk in front of 100 or 200 members or in front of the some panel members as well, right? So that's how you build the confidence as well. So for that, you need not be an HR to do it. So at some point in time, even you all might get that opportunity. So for that, you will have to start train yourself so that you can start it earlier in this particular point in time. So that when you start your career, it's much more easier for you all. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to add.
Sure. Thank you, Jagdish. So with respect to personal interview, I think all the panel experts have given you certain not only insights, but rather what are the do's and don'ts that you could take into mind in terms of how you could prepare yourself for a personal interview. So needless for me to add, because these are the same points. You go to any HR, at least one part where the HRs are going to be honest and going to be giving you the same response. So this is where even I advocate, and rather also second one to fourth in terms of giving your opinion of what needs to be followed. Having said that, in terms of AI intervention as to what it probably brings in a change with respect to personal interviews and assessment. One already Raghu had mentioned in terms of what form is this AI powered or proctored interviews, rather I would say the online tests are planned. So if I have to bring a note right now, most of the tier 1 companies, which are product based companies like Nvidia, Mulogic, Latent Hiring, ServiceNow, these companies have come with AI proctored, AI bot interview. Now what it does is, the technical skill, I'm speaking because when it comes to cognitive or behavioral skill, as what Jagdish has mentioned, I'll take it separately. When it comes to these technical assessment interviews, they are delegating it to this AI tool. So now what it does is, it uses the NLP that you call. So it tries to detect even your blink of an eye in terms of to what extent are you nervous, what is your sentiment, what is your emotion. That's how it tries to understand something, a way beyond a potential or capable HR resource professional can also view. At least that is how this algorithm have been designed. And NLP is the same formula. It is also used in the technical chatbot, as what Preeti had mentioned. This tries to understand your questions and accordingly it responses. So the same form, to what extent the response has been given, Raghu had brought in this point in terms of bringing a follow-up question. This is also designed in a way that out of the keyword of a question, the NLP processes tries to detect that question and tries to question back to the candidate in terms of how would you manage if it was this way and if it was that way. So that is how this proctored interviewer tool has been designed. It is not only used externally to identify the right set of candidates, at least in data consultancy services, we have started deploying it. Rather, we first piloted with our internal stakeholders within our employees. Because once you come inside, this is not the only interview that you're going to handle. There are going to be various rounds of client evaluations which are even more complex. So, service industries like us, we are going to be servicing to various customers, be it from the banking or the retail or the telecom, whatnot, with the energy sector. So these clients need to be wary of the fact that this is my person whom I'm going to partner with, and he is capable or potential enough to ensure that he is able to code my requirement. On that aspect, there will be a client evaluation, for which we have designed a Gen AI tool that does this interview of 45 minutes to ensure whether this client evaluation is going to be successful or failure. Rather, we say it as not Gen AI tool, but it's Gen AI coaching interviewer coaching tool, in such a way that he or she is prepared to take up this client evaluation. Now we are prepared in a way that using the understanding of how a candidate emotion is going to be. Now it is going to be put in the market, but we are still not in the place where we will be 100% successful. It comes with certain limitations. So there we are trying to. We will be very soon. We'll be launching with the potential workforce. Probably 1 or 2 years. You will be the first set of members who will be part of this tool. I don't want to call this tool name yet because it's not patented by us. So kindly bear with me till this is out in the market before it is being successfully tested by our organization. Now, having said that, we are coming closer to the end of session. So let me look into the other ethical considerations of the use of AI. While Preeti had already mentioned in terms of how fair is the process, in terms of reduction of bias, in terms of what could be the ethical challenge. Let me not only speak about only of the Indian geography, because we have global companies also over here. Something that is of utmost importance is the data privacy. So, a personal information of a candidate is of utmost importance in terms of maintaining this. I'll tell you a case study that happened for Sony, where a group of their employees' personal information which was stored in the cloud was compromised through a hacking intervention. Because of a hacker, around 2,000 to 3,000 workforce employees' personal data had been leaked in US. And bear in mind, that is not only the US law that comes into this place, because a cloud is something that not only stores the employee database of one country, but rather it takes the employee database and it's stored. I had a very tough challenge in terms of convincing my fellow colleagues in Japan, in terms of getting this employee workforce details to be put in cloud, which is stored in India. Because compromising security or data breach have different laws when it comes to different countries. Now, when we are going to use AI tools, now how is the implications that each of the organization view, and with what propensity or gravity is this situation being reviewed, is one thing that we want to look at it, we want to take it in terms of be it the legal angle or rather how the organizations view in terms of data compromise. Are we in a position where, like for example, uploading of a job description is one thing which is a company's input, whereas uploading the employee database into the system is about a personal information and it gets into the system. So, any views from your company or any retention period of an employee personal records in your company that can be stored? You can throw some thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, I'll take up that particular question, Ganesh. Okay. So obviously, like almost all the organizations, right? So they do have an ISO audit. Okay. So that usually happens. It depends upon the organization strength. Okay. So it happens on an as an organization. I mean, we do it on a yearly basis. Okay. So it happens, but in the meantime, we will be having a surveillance audit every quarter. Quarterly once, we will be having a surveillance audit. Okay. So what this ISO has is like they have certain protocols, okay, how an employee database has to be maintained, how it is not getting leaked to the other, I mean there are multiple other people like where we use HRMS, so we'll have to feed in employee database into their system, okay. So likewise, what the main requirement from the ISO standard is that, so any information or data of an employee has to be in a secured, kept in a secured place, okay, be it in a folder or be it in cloud or wherever you call it as. Okay. Likewise, the person like whom we are onboarding, so there would be like a couple of vendors that we would be onboarding in terms of any employee database handling, right? So they also should agree to that ISO standards, okay? So that is one basic requirement almost all the organization has when it comes to data protection. Again, if you ask me like is it 100% efficient in terms of employee database, are we sure about it? It is definitely not. At least to 90 to 95% we can assure that the database, whatever we are maintaining as an organization, it is safe in our hands. Okay. And the other point is like, so typically employee database has to be maintained in a system for 7 years. Okay. So until that is what as an organization, we do maintain all the employees' records. So beyond that, particular thing like the employee database will not be available with us.
Sure. I just wanted to add a point here. So we also comply with GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. Almost all the IT companies do this, okay? We comply with it, we adhere to whatever rules and regulations that are, given. We should be very, very conscious about, the employees' database, which is very, very sensitive, right? We should first tell the employees why we are collecting it, how are we going to use it, how are we going to maintain it, and when are we going to destroy it. That is very, it has to be very clear, right? And talking about this, our CRO, our Chief Risk Office is very active that, not even a single, detail of anyone will go out. At least what we believe is that as Jagdish mentioned, 90 to 95% of the data is protected with whatever laws and regulations that we have as of now, right? So this DLP incident, I'll also give you a small incident where we had a problem last year when we did an internship. We had students coming from different colleges for internship, right? They wouldn't definitely know what kind of implications it will have when it comes to moving internal files to ChatGPT or whatever generative AI platforms you talk these days, right? So it brings a lot of implications to the organization, and we had to take actions on many such situations, right? So we comply with all these laws and regulations, with very, very strict way, so that we are not losing out on anything. Yeah, that's my.
Fair enough. Due to a want of time, like there were a few other questions that I wanted to ask, but let me throw this floor open to questions from the student community, because we'll be willing to take and we'll be respond to any of the questions which are lingering in your mind right now.
Yeah. Okay, so with permission of Ganesh, yes, see, whatever we spoke, all these, 1 hour or more than an hour, it is what we know, right? So now I really wanted to tell you people what you really wanted to know. See, you will have plenty of questions in mind and make use of it. You can ask questions. It is not definitely should be related to AI or something. It can be any common general questions, because each one of us are from a different organization, different culture, and different industry that could help you. So any questions, definitely it is welcoming.
Yes, good morning, sir. Myself, Savignesh from Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. So I'm currently doing my second. I had one question. How important is continuous upskilling in maintaining long-term career growth in the industry?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah. How important is continuous upskilling in maintaining the long-term career growth? So as the evolve of the AI, every day we have been introducing new tools and new technologies. So how important is to upskill in the maintaining the long-term career growth in the
What is your discipline, if I may know?
So I'm from Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. ADS.
ADS, data science.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that, please be seated. So that itself says that, he is from a data science discipline. This is also one of the data is the new oil, and one of the emerging field. Rather, it is dissecting across all the different industries. It's not really specific to IT, but data science is something that is going across all the industries. So I will give it with a case from my organization. I'm sure, our organization is in all the reasons it's there in the social media with respect to realignment of workforce. You may call it various ways: retrenchment, layoff. The numbers are coming, which are very surprising, and which is new even today for us, which I don't know what number will come tomorrow. Though our operations are totally less than 1% of workforce that we're doing. Now, the reason why we are doing this, it's already been mentioned by CEO and CHROs of our company. Stay upskilled, stay relevant, stay pertinent. That itself is an answer to your question. Your upskilling is not only what you mean as a student community. As you get into the organization, you need to be staying relevant to the technologies which is not required by the organization but required by the clients. That's how organizations like service industries within the service industries would operate. So upskilling, there is no compromise at all. It was mainframe 2 decades ago. I'm sure my colleague Raghu will also resonate with that. Today, it's about AI. Tomorrow, it could be anything. But it is important that one needs to be relevant, and that is only by the means of upskilling. Please, Aaron.
I'm so sorry that who are doing AI and DS currently. See, AI is outdated. if you ask me, AI is completely outdated. You have to go close to AGI and ASI, right? Being a second year student, you always focus what is going to be on trend after 4 years. You should not think about what is currently on top of it. Right? So today AI and DS we are talking about. Just think what going to be after 4 years when you complete your engineering. So by the time when you study AI today, if you come out of college after 2-3 years, 28, by the time if it is AGI, what will you do? So I would recommend focus futuristically and think futuristically and start learning futuristically. That is what going to help you across.
Just to add to Raghu's point, see, learning is a continuous process, right? It never stops. When you were in your 12th standard, everyone would have told you that, you'll be free in your college, don't worry, just prepare yourself for 12th. But when you came into college, everyone would have been like, no, you'll have to prepare yourself for your work. So study well, have this, CGPA percentage or whatever the company wants, and you'll be free once you go to work. I'm telling you, it's a lie, okay? You know that. Once you get into the organization will want you to upskill, all right? You need to learn. There's always a course, a mandatory course that comes into picture where employees have to learn, complete it within the stipulated time. That's very important. You don't lose out on that area. Okay, so learning is a continuous process and continue to do it.
Mind you, the upskilling is not only for you, for us also.
First of all, good morning, sir. Myself, Vishnu Prasad, a second year student from the Department of Information Technology. My question is, what are the subtle mistakes that fresher candidates make during the interview that will drop their opportunity of getting hired immediately? Thank you.
Okay, so mistakes, yes, definitely a lot of mistakes that you guys do. Starting from your resume, if any specific college which gives you a template, all the department students will come with the same template. That is one thing. And I've been seeing this for long years that at least 10-20 people, students resume will have the same objective. I don't know how my objective can be, Jagdish objective, or Jagdish ones can be, Ganesh objective. See, you are just copying your resume. At least leave a space for objective. Please write your own objective. That is very important thing. See, when you come for an interview, you forget about other things. As an industry, first and foremost thing people would look at from you, it is the attitude that you carry. Right? Most of the time, my panels, I have seen this in person. The candidate is completely good enough in technology and he's a right fit is what I feel. I feel that he's going to be an offered candidate. But he'll get rejected during the technical interview itself. When I ask my panel, he'll say that Raghu is completely good in technology. But I don't think that I can able to manage this attitude in my team. Because I want a person who will be keen to learn and pursue his career. I do not want a person who will destroy my existing culture. That is one thing. And very recent time I'm seeing one important point is none of us are flexible. No one is ready to move out of their base location. Nobody wants to go to Pune. Nobody wants to go to Delhi. Nobody wants to go to Mumbai. Do you really wanted to go and stay with the same friends, same family? Family know the choice, okay? But at least for the same friends. See, this flexibility is going to give you a lot more opportunity to learn. If you do not know Hindi, if you forced to join in Pune, you will force to learn Hindi, correct? So the flexibility towards technology, towards location, especially timings. See, don't be so stringent towards us saying that I'll work only between 9 to 6. There is no such profile in the whole world which is being handled between 9 to 6. If you want to stretch, you have to stretch. No other choice. But at the same time, all these companies have a beautiful culture nowadays that is flexible time, wherein you come and log in at any time and you go out of the organization at any time as long as you have done your task. Got it? So I would recommend most of the time people will not be hired because of their attitude and they are not flexible enough.
Just wanted to add one more point. So when you're all freshers, right? One thing that I wanted to tell you, wherever I go, I tell this, okay? Now this work from home culture has become a thing now. And freshers like you, you guys wanted to work from home. Please drop that idea of working from home. Okay, you need to come to office. You should work from office. Work with, all the leaders. You get to, meet a lot of people. Work in different technology. Don't stick to one particular technology. I am specialized in AI and in DS. I wanted to go into this. No, stop that. Be very flexible in terms of learning new technology. Be ready to, move to different cities. Work in different workers, as Raghu mentioned. So have that flexibility. Take whatever comes your way, okay? For first 2 years, it might be very, very difficult. But that is the foundation that you're going to have, okay? That is the foundation. That is the kind of, the attitude and the fuel that you're giving for the upcoming years. So be very flexible in terms of all these areas.
On a lighter note, as Raghu had pointed out, I've come across numerous instances where the resume is same in the college to such an extent that in front of me, persons like Vijay Lakshmi, Gayatri, Saraswati, all these names come who sit next to me, but the gender is male. So imagine the copy.
No, sometimes they will copy the father's name as well. I have seen it. Okay, so sometimes it will be very awkward that people are copying so much things, including the father's name.
Even the AI will decode beyond logic. Okay.
So just wanted to say something here. We are talking about AI so much, right? With HRs, you can somehow crack interviews by saying that I'm good at multitasking, but with AI you cannot. AI will ask you 101 questions. How are you saying that you're good at multitasking? Give me an explanation. And if you're not able to, say what AI actually wants, there is that is the period you will end up with. So be very clear with whatever you're going to mention on the resume. Don't, overdo the resume so that you get the attention of the interviewer. No. See, have you all watched this Endiran movie? Yeah, it is more like that. We flip the resumes for 2-3 seconds, that's it. We don't have time to read your entire resume. So, have that catchy and very, very clear, about whatever you have done in last 3 years or 4 years. Be very clear with that. Okay, don't put too much of information that doesn't even falls to the eyes of interviewer.
Any questions, please?
Yes. So I'm Punsandhya and I'm from computer science. So recently I came across an editorial section titled as IT industry is at crossroads. So a middle class individual who wants to come up in life, who takes IT industry, it is acting as a upward mobility and of global relevance. So the debate was one of the steepest ever layoffs. So my question is, as per your organizations, what policies, frameworks or methodologies you can bring forward for the upcoming youth society to develop them as well as to enhance our Indian economy? So what will be your frameworks? That's my question.
So, more relevant to my organization, that's the reason, since you mentioned layoff. Okay. So, yeah. So what policies do we bring in so that the talent outside is nurtured, is your question. But I would also answer the talent inside is also nurtured. Okay. One, the question is there from another gentleman who had mentioned with respect to upskilling. Okay. So we've spoken a lot about redundancy. Any employee or a candidate who's going to say that, no, this is what I know, this is what I'll be doing for the in number of years to come, that's not going to serve the purpose at all. And with advancement of technologies and evolution that's happening across, one needs to be upskilled, without which one cannot survive in the organization, because that's how it is. It's not the age-old traditional manufacturing company that, if I do perform in lathe, this is what I'm going to do for 20 years. That's not how it's going to be. Rather, you need to keep upskilling. That is number one. How is it impacting with respect to change in policy? We have changed the policy in a way because there's something called bench period in the organization, where an employee is unallocated, not allocated to certain projects, which is based on customer requiring engagement, till the time he or she gets it. But during this time frame, it could be 30 days, 100 days, 200 days, we are paying to this employee. He or she is not like unpaid, okay? Because I'm sure they've got their loans and they've got a family to run. So they're being paid. But what is the productivity yield for the organization like us? So there, we're keeping a tab through a policy saying that 30 period or 50 periods is the max an employee can remain unallocated, because it's not only with the employee's aspiration or incapability. It is saying that the employee wants only this geography. I want US. I want UK. I want only UK-based project. I want something that is AI, whimsy, fancy, data language, all these, terminologies that we don't understand. They want only that project out of the many that know, which is one or two. So such employees have to be dealt with certain policy. That's the reason this has been done. And the other form that you asked is how is it going to build the nation in a way? So when these policy framework are adopted in the organization, everybody, as a matter of fact, is deployed and working in some customer-related engagement. Thereby, even he or she is also getting upskilled, and a talent is being nurtured internally. Externally, what we are doing is we as an organization are also engaging with the academia to ensure the faculty are also, there's a faculty development workshop that we call as FDP. They are also engaged in some form to stay relevant to the industry-relevant technologies. Because I'm sure theory is one, but what is industry requiring, what our customers are requiring, we are also trying to upgrade ourselves. So that way we are also engaging with the customers, academia. So by which there's a bridge between the customer, the industry, the academia. So the nationwide, the talent workforce is being nurtured.
To answer your question, right? So put it in very simple words, it is always demand versus supply, okay? So that particular thing, when you tend to understand that particular ratio, this thing will answer your question, okay? So that is one thing, okay? Because right now, there are so many, not only like engineering, if we take all the other academics, right? So there are so many people each and every year coming out of the colleges. Do we really have that much of need for the organizations to hire or onboard candidates? That's a question mark, okay? So it's again, what is the requirement from each and every organization? That varies, okay? So based on that, so that's why it is not, when I started my graduation, right? So way back in 2009, okay? So it was like, I had no thought what should be my career path, okay? But I had a thought I wanted to get into HR because looking at all the high-five things and all, I was in an intention I wanted to get into HR. Obviously, my parents were not okay for it, so they wanted me to pursue engineering. To be honest, I completed my degree with lot of arrears, okay? So and then I took a different career path, I want to start focusing on HR, okay? So at least at that point in time, I was very clear where my career is going to go ahead in the next 10 to 15 years, okay? So right now, everyone will have a different mindset. Few of you might become an entrepreneur, few of you over here might become an developer, or whatever different technologies or skill set that you can get into. But you will have to have a clear understanding or a roadmap, how you are going to build your career, okay? So in that meantime, any revolution things happens, you will be able to survive that, okay? So when I started my college, way back in 2009, there was a recession happening. 2010 or 11, I don't remember. So there were a lot of people being into the IT industry, they were losing their jobs. Okay? So again, this particular phase is also such revolution. So it's not like we are going to stay in that same situation. Obviously, we'll be coming out of that situation. Another 5-10 years, like as Raghu mentioned, like we are not, AI is going to get outdated. I mean, already it's outdated, but still it is going to get outdated. And there is another technology that is going to come in. So how we are going to get equipped with that particular thing, okay? So that's one thing, like almost like all the students over here, they'll have to start focusing on. So that particular thing is much more important is what I would say, okay? So simple, to put in other simple words, it's always about the learning mindset, okay? I mean, you can call it as an founder mindset, okay? So AI will give you speed, okay? The second thing what you have to take it is like the founder mindset will give you the ownership. So AI plus ownership, so you will see exceptional results. That is what I wanted to add.
Simple thing to add on, so you asked when you finished the question, how it is going to help the economy of this country. Like, first thing, being an engineering student and youngsters, please come out of the myth that if I finish my engineering, I'll just get placed only in an MNC company. There are a lot of startups are there. They are looking out a lot of talents, and they are more curious and interested to hire our own country people. But as a student, we will always fall for the brands and the number of numerical number that what you want to get it in your account. But numerical, I'm okay with that. But don't go beyond the brands. And unfortunately, sometimes when you got stuck up in a very bigger organization, you will be one among the lakhs. When you be a part of a startup, you are one among 10, 20, 50 or whatever. So the learning opportunity will be more and more and more high when you are being part of a startup. So look after, go beyond Indianized companies, Indian-based companies, which will definitely help the growth of our own country's economy.
Just to add here, definitely startups are a very good choice. Why I'm saying this is because they are into rapid experimentation, whereas large organizations, big companies, like us, will not take that risk of experimenting so many things. Because for startups, it is nothing. But for big companies, it's going to hit a lot of revenue, right? So, during this experimentation, they will actually use a lot of freshers like you all, and you will get a lot of, experience, learning experience. You can work on real-time projects. Hands-on experience will be there for you. So, pick those startups, work with them, do internships there that will really have a lot of impact on your career. So, a positive impact. So, prefer such companies. It will definitely, help you go a long way. So, that is my take on the, the startup company that Raghu was talking about.
Thank you for your time, your wisdom, and your willingness to guide our learners. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. As we come to the close of this enriching event, I invite our placement dean, Mr. O. Dharni, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very pleasant morning to all. I am audible? Fine. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the forenoon section of Career Impulse 6.0. First and foremost, we express our heartfelt gratitude to our respected chairman, Dr. Mary Wilson sir, for his constant encouragement, visionary leadership, and unwavering support that make knowledge enriching events like a possible. I extend our sincere thanks to our distinguished panelists who made all the section truly insightful. Ms. Preeti Balasundram, Analyst Campus Hiring Emphasis, Mr. Ganesh, Regional TAC Head TCS, Mr. Jagadish Kumar, Human Resource Manager New Logic, Mr. Raghu Paramasivam, Campus Recruitment Lead and HR, Mr. Gu, your perspective of AI-driven hiring, digital transformation, and future corporate skill requirement have been invaluable to our students. We truly appreciate your time and expertise. Our gratitude also go to principal, faculty members, conveners, and coordinators for their support. And to our enthusiastic students, thank you for your active participation, thoughtful interaction, and positive step. A special word of appreciation to the technical team, media team, hospitality team, and the volunteers, whose dedication ensured the smooth conduct of the event. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. I request everyone to be seated. I request everyone to raise at your feet as the dignitaries are leaving. I repeat, I request everyone to raise at your feet. Students may proceed to mess hall for the lunch and be back at 12:45 sharp.